It is staging area. We're on the Monster Energy stage. We are ready for the most unique race in all Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, Southwick. I'm Jason Wygant, and we're going to bring all the legends of Southwick who also are a little bit involved with the program. None other than the Doug Henry is joining us on our show today. Thanks for coming by, Doug.
No problem, no problem. I was in the area.
Yes, yeah, exactly, like right over there.
Yes.
I don't think people realize this. You know, they expect to see you here hanging out in some capacity. But you are in the trenches. You are as involved can be.
I like to be.
Yeah.
Especially here. I have such a history here. This is the first track I came to watch a race, not a national, just a local race, because we were at a dealership, Libby's Yamaha in New Haven.
Shout out.
Yeah, I picked up a bike there or some parts or something, and on the counter they had an NESC schedule.
Okay.
And it had Southwick on there. We're like, oh, that's not too far from Connecticut.
All right.
Let's go check it out. So my dad and I came up here, and we watched the race in, and I was like, looks good, looks fun, and we were trying to pick, kind of figure out my speed, like whereabouts I would be in the 80 novice class. And, so kind of came up here like 2 weeks later, and I did a few races, but this was my first, race ever.
Had you done any racing at that point when
you
were checking out?
This is my first thing. I went and watched a friend of mine race in New York.
Okay.
But he was just a classmate, and I don't know. I guess we kind of got connected with the NESC group. We heard that the organization was, pretty good, pretty tough, pretty strong. So
that is an unbelievable story. Okay, so you had a dirt bike, but you were not racing yet. You were just going to ride it for fun, or was the plan to buy that bike and race somewhere?
Just to have fun.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Not even doing gate drops or motos or anything?
No, back then it was just like riding in the farm. Like I had sort of a small little farm. My friend had a little bit of a farm. Sand pits, just go ride in the sand pits.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I got introduced to racing, because there's other riders racing, practicing at the sand pits and stuff. Yeah. So you kind of get a feel, you race? What's, I got to look into that. So that's when I went and checked that out. And it was great. I mean, I watching the racing and then coming here and just starting from that point, I think, and then having my career and coming back kind of full circle. It's like just kind of a fun little, little part of my life, the Southwick track.
Well, I think we'd be super bummed if you weren't here in some capacity. I want to get back to these early days of racing. That's hilarious. But just tell everybody what you're doing now. You're like the skid steer guy? Is that
yeah, kind of because with my injury, my arms are all I can use, and most skid steers are all hand control. So I jump in there, and I don't really need to go anywhere, so I sit in that thing. And last year I was in the thing for 14 hours. I said, I don't want to do that this year.
Okay.
So this year I kind of just did a couple of 6-hour stints and, just kind of helped out, grooming, trying to fill in the rain ruts, getting the pit area nice and smooth for the tractor trailers and semis. And
where is your experience with moving dirt? Was that something you've always done your whole racing career, or is this something you've just kind of gotten into more recently?
I grew up on 9 acres. My dad had a small piece of property, and he had a backhoe, dump truck. So he was always working around the property, and I got to run stuff there here and there. And then once you get into motocross, and in New England, we didn't have Supercross track today. The kids don't know how spoiled it is.
There we go. There it is.
I got a chance to go down to Millsaps and GPF and check out them training facilities, and I was blown away.
So you have gone there now?
Just this year on the way home from Daytona, I stopped in, and got to check them out. But anyway, so if you wanted a Supercross track, you had to build it, and so I picked up an old John Deere 350 track loader, and that was my one piece of equipment that I started with. Built the famous triple that Elvis showed me to do.
Oh,
that was
the Terra
built.
Firma triple?
I built that with my little 350 John Deere. And,
got a rev.
And then I started adding equipment. Got a dozer, and then got an excavator, and then got a skid steer, and
I've always wondered with you guys. Okay, so eventually you get factory rides. You were like DGY, right, and then Honda. So you're in California a lot.
For the winter.
Okay, so
Thanksgiving to like Daytona.
Okay, so most of the year they were letting you come back here, and you were doing most of your riding and training here.
Yep.
So that's why you needed that track.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, because I didn't know. So would they ship bikes? They had all that stuff handled?
Pretty much. I mean, we had a practice bike that was dialed in pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't full on works titanium stuff, but it was, we had good suspension, our triple clamps, our linkage systems, a little bit of extra power, pipes, clutches.
Yeah.
But so they were pretty close. Really close.
Oh, so they were able to maintain that. And you did your training for Supercross, including a 125 Supercross title, with that New England track was part of that program.
Part of that exactly.
When you go, talking to Doug Henry here, when you see like that track at MTF now or the racetracks and what track you had, I mean, was it 60% of a Supercross track? Was it 80? I'm sure it wasn't 100% spec.
No. It was very narrow, skinny, and it wasn't level, wasn't flat, so there was kind of a little bit of, but
okay.
It was good. What started it out was the Burst C when I went over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got to be able to build these obstacles because I never did a step on, step off before, so I went over there and I struggled with it. So that was the first thing I built in my house was a little step on, step off kind of thing.
In Bercy.
Yeah.
So you were good enough to be on the radar and get invited there to Bercy.
Yep.
But you had not done much Supercross at the same time?
Just a little bit with DGY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't practicing?
Not at home, no.
No way.
No. John Dowd had a little track made, and his was kind of similar to mine where, it's just kind of pretty beat up, but it worked.
But John always tells me when he first got to go to California and go to the Yamaha track, they called him like the frame stretcher or something like that. He said it was pretty rough. What was it like for you when you first started, okay, I'm going to work on this Supercross thing? Did it come fairly easy, or was it a big learning curve?
I struggled just like John.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, the timing of jumps and being precise like that, that didn't really come up with my riding.
No. The sand pits are not teaching that.
Not much technique in the sand.
Exactly.
Lean back and hold it open.
You have to be pretty proud then, because I feel like for you, obviously a great success in motocross, you won titles, but you were not shabby in Supercross. You had to be pretty proud of how far you were able to come in Supercross.
Yeah, I was. I felt like I was kind of getting up to that point where winning races and just little accidents set you back.
Yeah,
and I think that 97. I go back to that 97 title. Where I was winning. I was kind of in the points. Right in the title chase there. Broke my hand, and that set me up. But without that incident, there wouldn't have been a 4-stroke in Vegas.
Good point.
Because I would have been probably fighting for the battle, and they're like, we're not trying anything new in Vegas. But since I was off the bike and out of the points, they're like, let's go do it. And Vegas was the perfect place to bring it out. Hard packed, throttle control was so easy there. It was just perfect setup, perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I've been told that day, Vegas, they were experimenting with some different stuff to put in the soil for dust control. Do you even know this story?
No, I never heard
You got to find Roy Jansen, who still works for us at MX Sports.
I just talked to him today.
Yeah, so you know where he is. You saw him today.
Yeah.
He said they were working on something to mix in they wouldn't have to water so much, but it still wouldn't be dusty, and it made it extra slick to your advantage. It's part of the legend of that ride.
Well, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, it worked out for you. But I'm just saying, you had to be. I'm going to go. We'll talk about the fact you raced in the 80 novice class and got to where you did, which is crazy. But to go from I didn't even ride Supercross during the week to become, for a few weeks at least, the best Supercross rider in the world, winning the premier class races, That's a heck of an accomplishment. Or in the moment, do you not even reflect on that? Or are you just taking it race by race?
Race by race. Just
so you're not even thinking about that.
Yeah, just trying to get better. I mean, the timing, the turning, bike setup. It was quite a bit different between Supercross and outdoor nationals, and kind of setting your bike up to turn and go through the whoops was kind of a tough thing because you're always giving up one or the other. And it was learning the bike, but Supercross was a struggle. But having that, having a little bit of practice, bit of practice here and there,
I'd imagine
got me through.
So even in your peak days, the track was still like that. It was never a spec blueprint.
No.
But
it was only on the West Coast when I got to try, ride a real Supercross track.
Yeah.
Or actually Ricky, I went down and rode with him down in Florida at his track.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Carmichael will be on the show with us, TV show this weekend. I was going to ask Dowd about the crazy battles he had with him, even one here in 98. Did you really race Carmichael much?
No. I got out of it right when he was kind of coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. We both won in 98. He won the 125.
That's right.
And I won the 250
And then by 2000, when he was in the class, you didn't race anymore.
Correct. I've just come out
here.
For Southwick. Yeah,
so there might have been a handful of Southwicks. You're on the same gate.
Yeah. I think I led more laps than anybody over Carmichael that year.
Oh, no kidding. Oh,
me
maybe
and like
you did.
Ferry or something. Yeah, it was kind of a weird stat.
Doug Henry. Dude, one year I remember you came out and you raced a YZ250.
Yep. Yeah.
You were known. You had been branded 4-stroke guy.
I know, but a 2-stroke in the sand is a blast. It's
so
much easier. It's like riding a bull or riding a horse to me. Like one of them handles way better.
I see.
Doesn't beat you up nowhere near as bad.
Okay, you would be the best person in the world to ask this. Okay, you raced those first ones at the highest level. You were the first guy to do it. You still ride a 450 now, right? And you saw how they were evolving. It has to be night and day compared to the 97, 98s.
Yeah, just the throttle response and the handling of the bikes are way easier to ride. I had an I guess the mine was 98, 99 riding. Yeah. And I had an 09, which was a big difference. And then I have an 18 and fuel injected. It's beautiful. It's a blast.
Because I hear guys that are 5 years after you, like Ferry, Reed, those guys, 03, 04, and they always talk about this infamous, at any point, that thing was going to bog. You never knew. So what the heck were you dealing with?
Same thing.
It wasn't happening.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
And it would work sometimes?
Yeah, we kind of got some things figured out, but, it's just like an electrical issue, the carb things.
Yeah.
Carbs and electric stuff is just electronics, you never know what you're going to get.
You're chasing.
Yeah.
You're chasing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the so you only got a dirt bike to ride for fun.
Yep.
You come in 80 novice class. I mean, did it ever even occur to you that, someday maybe I'll win the pro race here? That's such an incredible leap.
I never thought of it, but I tell you, when I was on the fence, 8 o'clock in the morning watching Mickey Diamond with that red Honda, number 43 one year and then number 1 the next year. And, I kind of lived that dream of coming here with number 16, winning the national championship, then coming back with the number 1 and doing the same thing. So, sitting on the fence there dreaming, it's just a dream. And I just kept going. I guess I love the sport, and at the time, just trying to pick up something that would, financially, that would make my life financially stable.
Yeah.
I was always set. I was buying the equipment to kind of do similar to what John's doing to get into construction work. Yep. If racing didn't work out, and I just kept doing well.
Were you doing
racing.
that when you were racing too?
No, just pretty much on my own, like just my own property and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what year is it that you're on the fence? You think watching, like that? What year would that have been?
That was 86, 87. Yeah. So then I turned expert in 87 and probably raced my first national in 88.
You guys are crazy. Only you NASC guys have stories like that. Yeah. That's crazy. And when you were expert, I mean, were you did you truly belong there? Like, were you fast enough at that point? Or
it was
it out
great.
There a little bit?
It was great. I hole shotted a lot of races because I was lighter and just I don't know. I just got good starts. And there was a video. I lost it in a house fire, but it was really cool. Like one of my first expert races that I hole shotted, and I actually pulled away a little bit. But then here comes Pat Barton, John Dowd, Jim Meenan, Dave Rudnicki, go through the list of all the New England super fast guys, Joe Waddington, these guys just every lap, like they'd come by the same spot, and I'd be like a couple spots back,
okay.
couple spots back, couple spots back, you know. But eventually I was able to stay up front and win a NESC title, which is tough. You know, an expert title in New England is pretty tough because it's 20 minutes plus 2 laps. The weather can be what it is. You know, you never know what it is. And a lot of times you run in 2 classes, so that's 4 25-minute motos a day.
Oh.
And competition is tough. So
and a lot of races, too. The schedule's huge up here, right?
Very long, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, like 20, 25 rounds or something crazy it always seemed like back then?
Yeah, probably. Like, between there's a spring series and a fall series, and probably more than that between the 2 series, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So from 86 on the fence watching, 86 and 87 on the fence watching, you won the title in 93. Like, that is only 6 years.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I feel like I started late.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been a little bit of my learning curve crashing issues is I always felt like I was behind because a lot of the guys I was racing were younger than me.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had to get better faster because, you know, the factory teams didn't want somebody, you know, older. You know, they wanted the young guys. They wanted, you know, the young up-and-comers, and I was a little bit old getting into it. So
I see. Yeah, so if you had taken 2 or 3 more years to get to that level, maybe you don't even get
Exactly. Yep.
They took a chance with the Dowd guy, at least.
I did.
He was old.
And it was nice because I always knew that there was somebody older than me out there, and I had plenty of time.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what, you know, you could ask him. I don't know what year he won his title, the Supercross title.
Oh, yeah. That's I think that was 98.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't. What was he? 40, 38,
something crazy.
40. Yeah, I mean, that was awesome.
Yes.
I mean, for all the old people out there that ride, you know, to see somebody having Dungy come back, you know, like for me, that's so awesome to see. I love seeing guys, you know, because I think seeing Tomac doing so well, but it's just that I think that the riding style, and the mental strength, and the program that you put together, if you could just kind of keep a nice steady program going, you can be right in there. I think you know,
at almost any age. Like the age itself isn't a problem.
Yeah, not so much. I think you know, like I think riders are a lot smoother and bikes maybe not so much. You know, kind of throwing.
Oh, you think it's gotten it was tougher to do it at an older age?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, I also think here's one thing. Like you're just figuring out all this on your own. Did you have a trainer, right?
I went and searched for one in, I don't know, maybe 96 or right after the Honda. Actually, in 94 when I was having those stomach issues.
Oh, yeah.
It was like I got to find somebody, and I got hooked up with a trainer in California, and he helped me out with a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
And then I got another trainer from Minnesota that kind of came out and trained me a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was more of just the physical stuff, not really riding. Like I never had a riding coach.
Right.
You know, to be able to kind of show me what I was doing wrong. And I feel like I could have extended my career a little bit longer if I learned to ride smoother instead of trying to, you know, I felt like for me to continue with racing, I just had to beat my head in the ground harder and harder.
Yeah.
Instead of like, you know, ride smarter, not harder.
Yes,
you know, like that was one of those things. I wish I could have just, like, that's what I do now. Like right now I love just going out there and putting like really nice corners together and, you know, that to me is you know, riding and skill. You know, it's actually like skiing. You know, like I don't know if any skiers, but you know, carving that nice turn. It's so quiet and effortless.
Yeah,
I love riding my dirt bike and going around a lap where it's just feels like it's effortless and fast.
It is surprising hearing that from you because for sure your rep was the dude just holds it wide open and does whatever it takes. The smoothest line doesn't matter. He's just effort, heart. But that's not the way you wanted to do it. That's just the way I guess you felt you had to.
Right, exactly.
To go that speed.
Yeah. Nobody ever told me to do it a different way.
No, I know. Well, I guess that's what we're getting to. Like, today's guys have had people around them the whole time teaching them to be smart about it. And you should try that. And that has to add longevity when you're not just guessing or, as you said, beating your head against the wall. That's maybe the big difference, Teen. You know, it's maybe starting in the 90s a little bit, but definitely after your time.
Yeah.
A lot more guidance. Would be.
Yeah, starting with the proper riding technique.
Yeah.
That's key. Anybody that wants to get into racing, you know, it's like learn the riding position. Like to me, that's the biggest thing when I teach, like at a school or help out at a school or do a little bit of, you know, somebody offers me advice. Most of the time, it's just body position. Yeah. You know, getting in the right body position. try to make it effortless.
Do you go back and see videos of yourself and you're like, I wasn't doing that?
No, not really videos.
You're okay.
Just a photo is enough.
Right.
A photo is enough for me to see that
you don't
I
even
am
want to
out
see.
of position. Yeah,
you don't even want to see the video.
Yeah, I feel like all the like so many photos that I see, I feel like I should have hired a goggle strap guide because my God, I'm like, I can't believe that, like how many times I think you get it right, but it's not right.
And this is you at like factory rider days?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Okay, so you're here in the skid steer. What do you actually do? What is Monday through Friday like for you these days? I know I see you ride here and there, but what's your main thing that you do these days?
Pretty much just kind of take care of the I have a big piece of property, so it's like kind of taking care of the property, taking care of the equipment to take care of the property.
Yeah.
I've kind of started helping out with some fundraisers. I've always done one on my own Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And now we're doing 2 more throughout the year. So we're trying to raise money for injured riders. And
nice.
Yeah, we do a few of those a year, and
how
some
do you
of
do
it
that?
goes
How
to road
how do
recovery.
people get involved, or
there's a couple of ride days that we do. One of them I just posted on my Instagram about. It's a New England Legends ride, and it kind of goes back to all of the riders that did well here.
Oh, yeah.
So we try to get them back out to come out and ride.
Yep.
And then it's because it's kind of neat for someone at an amateur level, even to meet that fast local guy. Like a local guy that they've been watching win the expert class for many, many years.
Yeah.
Go out and hang out and ride with them and talk to them and stuff. So we try to kind of bring a little bit of that back to it.
Okay, so that's a fundraiser.
Yes.
Those events work like that.
Yeah.
And you said it's part of Road to Recovery? It's tied in?
One at my event that I do, I donate the money to Road Recovery, and
nice.
They send out stuff. And I try to get stuff from Southwick to, kind of raffle off and auction off from the riders. So, yeah.
What a good guy.
Good. Yeah, well, we try.
That is awesome.
Well, I feel like it's, kind of coming around, people have helped me, so much. So try to help, the people that have struggled through racing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, look, you've had your ups and downs too. So the fact that you're just even that, you still have that same passion for the sport. I mean, let's be honest.
More so. I tell you,
really?
I love watching practice and qualifying and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm so into it. And, yeah, I'm really into it now.
I'm just saying, like, you have had plenty of reason for you to say, screw these darn dirt bikes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That you've not gotten to that point.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I saw you riding a day in the dirt. Like,
you
still do your Daytona trip every year to get down and ride.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, I love it.
All right, so you're going to have fun tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But will you have another 6-hour shift on the skid steer?
I don't think so. I think I got the day off.
Oh!
I'm just eyes out there. I'm just going to be
nice.
On my quad kind of. How's this look over there? What's this showing? Is this sticking out? All right, go check this out. Is that really rough, or are they just complaining?
Yeah, that's a fine line. I like it. Awesome to have you on here, Doug
All right,
Henry.
thanks.
Always good to catch up.
You.
We don't talk enough, that's for sure. We're going to take a break here on Staging Area. We'll be right back. We got more Southwick Legends. I think I see John Dowd over there. We'll come chat with him. Thanks, Doug.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
Who's it going to be after 30 minutes and 2 laps? Heart rates are absolutely pinned right now. It is on right now. MAP TV live coverage. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. How can you not respect the grit, the heart, the effort? Chet Lawrence is the 2021 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross champion.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Series. This year, MAP TV.
And we're back on Staging Area. We've taken one Southwick legend. We brought another one up. Don't adjust your set. We have Doug Henry. Thanks for the time. We've now got John Dowd here. And I'm just lucky you guys are not so busy that it's time for us because you guys are on the work crew, bro.
Yeah, we're kind of a part of the program this year. Not this year, but every year. But this year's been nice so far. Knock on wood. Last year was a pretty challenging with the rain.
I thought you ruined yourself. You told me on the phone yesterday it's not going to rain. So far, so good.
I was feeling a little courageous there when I said that, but so far so good. The track's looking great. The forecast is looking nice. We just got now our big issue is just trying to get down enough water.
Wow, so it's the opposite. It's the opposite problem.
Completely opposite.
Yeah.
I was already kind of harassing we have sort of like water crew and dirt crew and little labels for our little groups, and so I was already harassing the water guys, having fun with it because they were harassing us last year. But it's all good. Everybody chips in. We got a really good group of guys here. Everybody, Doug and a bunch of other people. Everybody kind of just pitches in wherever we need something.
I told you this the other day. I just feel like that's the way it needs to be. Like I think it'd be a bummer if people came here and they found out you guys didn't even show up to watch.
Yeah.
Or let alone be involved. Like that's what everybody wants on their tracks, right? They want the tracks to be the way they remember them. Who better to make sure Southwick is Southwick than you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you, I feel like I remember it more old school than like modern, but
okay.
We're always it feels like a little tug of war sometimes with like MX Sports and them.
Yep.
They want grooming and
okay.
safety issues and things, and it's just it's a little different nowadays than it was back in the day. But I remember one race in particular. I think it was maybe 1990, but we had a local race the week before, an ASC race.
Yeah.
And they literally did not groom anything on the track, and then ran the national the next weekend. I mean, that was rough, and I remember that day, and I was hurting for like 2 weeks after that race. But it was fun. It's a little different these days. The tracks are everywhere, all the tracks in the country. Everybody's prepping. It's gotten down to a better science.
Yeah, that's.
The national the next weekend. I mean, that was rough, and I remember that day, and I was hurting for like 2 weeks after that race. But it was fun. It's a little different these days. The tracks are everywhere, all the tracks in the country. Everybody's prepping. It's gotten down to a better science.
Yeah, that's.
The national the next weekend. I mean, that was rough, and I remember that day, and I was hurting for like 2 weeks after that race. But it was fun. It's a little different these days. The tracks are everywhere, all the tracks in the country. Everybody's prepping. It's next weekend. I mean, that was rough, and I remember that day, and I was hurting for like 2 weeks after that race. But it was fun. It's a little different these days. The tracks are everywhere. All the tracks in the country. Everybody's prepping. It's gotten down to a better science.
Yeah, that's. Oh, if it gets deeper because it's so wet, that makes from the being drier.
Yeah, I think at this place. I mean, this place when it gets real wet, it'll just get real ruddy, which is all, that's also very hard to ride too.
Sure.
But it's just a different kind of a rough, but I feel like, I'm a little old school, my era back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah.
I think I raced this thing first in 87.
The National?
I think I did the National here in 87.
Okay.
So yeah, back then it seemed like it was so much bigger back then too.
Yeah, you told me that the other day. Yes,
I think we said that on the phone. Yeah,
the track seemed massive to you back then.
It just seemed bigger. I don't know.
Yeah,
everyone seems. I was talking to Treadwell the other day, and he kind of said the same thing. He's like, it just seemed like it was so much bigger back then, But
I think there's a lot of stuff from our childhood. That's
something
the way it goes.
To do with getting older, I guess. Stuff looks smaller when you get older.
We were talking to Doug Henry up here before, and his story is similar to you. This ridiculously late start that you guys got. So he went from 86 and 87 just watching the race to 6 years later winning the 125 national championship, which is insane.
Yeah.
But dude, you were, what was the first year you actually raced?
87.
87?
Yeah.
And you raced the national? No, what year did you?
I raced the national in 87.
Yeah, what year did you start racing motocross?
85.
2 years from riding dirt bikes to racing a national.
And I broke my arm in 85.
So you missed some time.
So I missed part of 85 too.
Oh, it would have been tragic for the sport.
It was ugly.
If you had given up at 85 and said, this isn't for me, I think of all the memories we would have lost.
I was close. I was borrowing and stealing everything to try to make it happen. But
unreal. So I asked Doug this thing, and I'll ask you the same. Did you have any thought in 87 that you'd be where you were? Well, you won a national in 91. That was a crazy mud race, but eventually you had a factory ride, and you're winning nationals.
No.
Was that even on your radar?
No.
No.
I never would have thought that I would have done what I was able to do in the sport, but I guess I was too stubborn or whatever, or having too much fun to give up. I don't know. I didn't even know any better. I was like, man, this is great. I get to race, and if I do all right, I can make a couple bucks. I was working during the week too. I used to work a full-time job before
Before
I started
license.
Racing. Even when I raced a lot of the nationals in my earlier years, I was working all the time, and so man, you get a little taste of just making a little money at it, and I think it was a little easier to make some money back then, but
well, especially here, right? Because they had tons of races.
Yeah,
they're probably paying contingency.
Yeah. The local racing scene here is really strong.
It's the only one left. That's what I always say.
It's good. It's good. It's tough. Come here on a local weekend, but it was just fun. I didn't really have anything better to do, anyways.
It's racing dirt bikes. It's not that bad.
I was like, this is pretty cool. I get to go ride around and maybe make $10 or something.
You always seem so laid back about things. Did you get to the point where you're like, man, I really want a factory ride and all that comes with that? And, man, every year Southwick's on the calendar, and if I could get a podium there, I could beat some factory guys. Did you put that kind of pressure on yourself? Did you think about that?
I was kind of in a weird way. Like, I remember Tread brought this up to me. One year I forget what year it was, but I was dicing with Kyle Lewis.
Okay.
Who was a top privateer guy at the time, and I didn't know who he was. I never really read magazines and stuff, so I was pretty clueless, about the whole sport in general.
Maybe that helped.
But I think it did.
Like you were less intimidated, probably, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point I was getting to. Is I didn't really know. I wasn't really freaked out by the top guys because I just didn't know that they were like the top guys, and I wasn't. Or I was like, oh, this guy's going that fast. Maybe I got to keep up with him, So. But I did do a lot of crashing back then. But
so did you even think of that then? Like, oh, if I get a third at the Southwick National as a privateer, I get a factory ride. Did you put that kind of pressure on yourself?
Eventually it kind of came into life. But Doug Henry had a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah,
because in our earlier years we weren't really friendly with each other.
I've always wondered that.
We raced each other hard in the NESC series. For a couple of years, and then he went off a year before me and started doing some. So. In 91, I got 5th at Gainesville.
Yeah.
And I forget what he got, I think he got 5th too.
Oh,
so
okay.
We went to Sacramento, that mud race.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on the line, pouring rain, and I'm watching the 125 race, and I see Doug win. And I remember sitting there, and I said to my mechanic, I'm like, what the hell? How am I supposed to beat that? So like
this guy is always elevating.
Yeah, this guy is such a thorn in my side. And then I don't know how I managed, but I managed to go out and win the thing that day. I think my bike just stayed running somehow, but a stroke of luck. But So me and Doug, it was kind of cool because I always got to see him. He was always kind of one step ahead of me. So I guess for me, it was really helpful. Every time I saw him do something good, I was like, man.
He was your, like, the dangling carrot,
yeah.
so to speak.
Well, because I used to beat him. We beat each other. We were pretty neck and neck a lot of times locally earlier years. And so every time I see him go out and get a podium or a top 5 or something, and like I said, again, getting back to the two, not knowing enough, knowing any better, I was like, he just did it. I guess I got to try to do, I just figured I could do it, but. A lot of times locally earlier years. And so every time I see him go out and get a podium or a top 5 or something, and like I said, again, getting back to the two, not knowing enough, knowing any better, I was like, he just did it. I guess I got to try to do, I just figured I could do it, but. A lot of times locally earlier years. And so every time I see him go out and get a podium or a top 5 or something, and like I said, again, getting back to the two, not knowing enough, knowing any better, I was like, he just did it. I guess I got to try to do, I just figured I could do it, but. Neck and neck a lot of times locally earlier years. And so every time I see him go out and get a podium or a top 5 or something, and like I said, again, getting back to the two, not knowing enough, knowing any better, I was like, he just did it. I guess I got to try to do, I just figured I could do it, but.
actually.
Yeah,
that's fine. But
I'm enjoying.
I'm
helping kids. Yeah, I'm helping kids now. I have a business. Me and my wife do touch-up paint, so we're just fully doing that and just basically the time I was putting into racing, I'm now putting into my business. So it's really exciting.
Well, that's what everybody says, like the success stories after. Like, I learned this work ethic and this discipline and all that. It sounds easy, but I'm sure it's not as easy as it sounds. You figured it out now, but it had to be rough for a little while to make that connection.
The mental transition is what's weird about it. I found out, the anything that's not dirt bikes, I'm sure you found this out, is easy. Anything that's not a dirt bike is easy to me. Like grueling work, 8 hours, getting up early, doing all that stuff is it's nothing because this sport was so hard on me, and then being sick on this sport, it made it really, really hard. So now I do what I actually kind of enjoy my job, even though it's some type of manual labor.
Yep.
And me and my wife, we do touch-up paint on cars. So that's really what I've been doing since I stopped racing. And when I get time to go out, I ride with my friends. And I've been helping Harrington, Murdoch. We've been riding with Canning and Coquinos a little bit. But I'm just trying to – there's so many talented guys here in New England. And one of them's in New Hampshire. One of them's in Portsmouth. Mm-hmm. One of them is down here in the Cape. Someone's out here riding Southwick, and none of these guys are working together as a team.
Okay.
And, like, when I grew up, Dowdy, Henry, KJ, Treadwell, these guys were riding together, doing motos together, and it was like a New England team almost, you felt like.
Clan.
Everyone wanted.
Yes, that was true. You guys were riding together a lot.
Oh, it was amazing to see, and, like, I feel like I want to bring some of that back to New England.
That's awesome. How receptive is everyone to this, and what kind of logistics does that take? It's probably not as many places to ride, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the other hard part. Yeah.
There's not anywhere to
we
ride.
used to have all kinds of places, and it's tougher these days with that goes.
Dude, I've heard right here, I'm sure you know Johnny Gerard, the XC2 champ of GNCC.
Yep. Yeah. He's a madman.
He's from Southwick, and, dude, he tells me all these legendary stories of just, like, ripping through the streets and the woods right around here, and it's not cool anymore.
No.
Yeah. It's being...
It's a different era.
Taming down on it.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. But that's how it's going now.
So you're having a lot more fun now, huh, riding with now that you're not like so mentally committed anymore. Like we were just talking about that before we came up.
Cool.
On stage,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Good work in the interview, John. Look at his interview
that
skills.
Question. I
Sorry,
like that.
I didn't even
good.
know that.
I'm good. I've done plenty. Go ahead.
No, I do. I feel like I found a new love for it, and now that it's not about me, when I go to the track, I'm like, none of these guys are paying me or anything like that. Jamie laughs at me because on Tuesdays I skip out of work early. I'm like, I sent her a meme. It was like some guy laughing, like me skipping out of work to go ride.
Yeah.
And like I'm leaving money on the table, but I'm like, I'm not sacrificing my entire life to my work. I really feel like when I help kids, especially younger kids that maybe haven't been shown some of the things that me and John have been shown through our careers and being on factory teams and working with trainers and all the different things you do. So I just feel like bringing those guys out, having them race each other, lap times, pit boards, like the small little things. I feel like a lot of guys from New England, they think it's this big thing you need to chase, and it's the small little things to get out of New England and be on the national level. And I think John was able to do that. He just worked hard, and he was able to do it with pure hard work and dedication. And it's hard to do that now out of New England because we don't ride 6 months out of the year. So it's a different world now. You got to travel a little bit.
I've always wondered, though, a little bit, well, how much of that did you do? Or were you locked in here a little bit? I remember you as an
traveled
amateur.
a lot.
You did?
Yeah,
okay.
I was fortunate enough. My father really, really put his foot forward for me, as John knows. Like, he stepped up. Basically, when I was an amateur, I really stepped up. So, yeah, I was fortunate. I left New England quick.
You had to?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
I always wonder, though, a little bit, this would be more for Doug kind of said it, you said it, like, the guys, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Chase Sexton is like, I did not ride during the winter. I'm from Illinois.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's hard.
He told me last week at Redbud, he's like, I think it might have been my dad's plant to, like, you can't get burned out because you're going to have to not ride for 4 months a year. And eventually when you're a pro, high-end amateur, you will.
Yes.
Think about, I mean, was burnout even in your mind?
Well, I think there's some truth to that. Like, because earlier on in my racing years, I never went anywhere. It's winter here, you know.
Right.
So we didn't ride, but I just remember getting on the bike in the springtime, and I'm sure you kind of did some of that way as you're younger. But, man, you couldn't wait to get back on the bike in the spring. And you just got on and just, you know, you just kind of – sometimes I remember getting on in the spring and just feeling like I was faster somehow.
Yeah, you feel like you're rejuvenated.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was a mental thing or whatever, but just that break, that couple of 3 months or whatever it might be, you know.
Yeah.
But like you said, as you get kind of higher up that ladder, you end up kind of going to Florida or going to California, wherever. And then you start living that year-round grind. And
but you weren't doing it You certainly weren't. You weren't doing it at 12 years old. Right?
No.
You weren't even. Did you even own a dirt bike at 12 years old?
I don't think so. No way. He won his first national, 91, you said?
Yeah.
That's when I was born.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I remember I was like 18. I was like the A rider. I was just like the one guy doing the Redders and the Nationals and like thinking I was like hot shit here in New England. And then he would show up, dude, half retired. I think you had been done for like 4 years at that point. And then he would just work us, dude. And I'm like, I just remember being like, I can't let this old man beat me every single weekend. I got to get better. But at the time, I didn't realize that John was still so competitive and like, at 2 years before that, he got second place overall here. You know, it's
I was talking to someone the other day about when I was 40. I think not just me, but anybody. I think even at 40, I think you can still physically be pretty good, pretty strong as long as you stay in it. Like we were talking about this earlier. You know, if you kind of stay in the training and in the grind a little bit, riding, and that's what I mean. I never really stopped because I had my son Ryan and he started racing before I was able to kind of get out of it.
Fitness
so
going,
so I just kind of had a 36-year span where I just never stopped riding a dirt bike. So but I think
really
that's part of the reason why I got into those later years and was able to kind of stay pet. But I'll tell you what, I remember watching Jimmy and Robbie and Tony LaRusso and you know there's multiple guys out here. But I remember watching him on a 65 and stuff, and I'm like, man, that kid is ripping. He's going to be spanking me pretty soon, you know. But it was always cool for me to see all the young guys and still be able to race with them, and you know sometimes beat them, sometimes not. But either way, it was always kind of.
Well, you said a key word. You guys actually race. You guys actually race, and you got people still do. You actually race in New England.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anywhere else anymore. I'm sure you've seen how that's evolved.
No, and I think it comes down to the training facilities. You know, these guys, they just practice all year. And don't get me wrong, after training with Swanepoel and a lot of the star guys, like, you can get away with it if you're riding with your team and you're riding and you're training with Christian Craig. And,
fast guys.
Well, maybe not Tomac because he's in Colorado most of the time. But, like, if you have 7 250F factory riders, you can get away with it a little bit. And sometimes the training facilities can. But I'll tell you what, I rode for 6 months. I mean, I guess I took 2 years off, and then I rode for 6 months. I started riding back in Daytona of this year, and I'm not even near where I need to be. Like, you need to ride a lot to be where you want to be. Like, you can't
lose that edge.
Oh, I've taken 2 years off.
There,
like,
you know?
I've been riding 6 months now, at least once a week, just for fun and to train and ride with the younger guys. And like, man, I'm finally getting there, and it's 6 months. Like, that's why I guess I'll say it now, but I'm going to do this race next year is my goal.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
I wasn't sure if you were going to put that out there.
No, that's the goal I really want to focus on. And like, my main goal actually was Foxborough not this year, but next year. But I think they're going to swap with New York, so I put that on hold a little bit. And then with us starting our business, trying to test here in the winters, it could get a little tricky. So that'll be 2 years from now. I'll do Foxborough, but next year for sure I'm going to do the national and hopefully on a KTM, Trail Jesters, and.
Woo!
We'll see. It's going to be for fun, but I'm definitely not going to take it lightly. I'm going to train and do my best. And now that I'm healthy and I enjoy this, I can actually go to the gate and say, "Hey, I want to be here." Not I'm forced to be here. And that is a big, big difference when you're being forced to do something and you're sick. It was it was really hard for me. So
takes the fun out of it.
It took every last bit of fun out of it.
So you want to just leave it on a note of I remember racing the Southwick National the last time when it was fun. You just want to leave it on
I want to go there. But I want to be competitive, too. I don't want to just get in and ride around. Like, I could do that this year. I could go out, qualify, and ride around and finish. That's not what I want to do. I want to go out there and compete and give the fans something to cheer for, you know, just like Dowdy did when he was older. It's something that you can work for and work towards every single day of a whole year, and it gives you motivation and something to train towards. So, yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I'm excited.
All right, awesome.
And
but I'm only doing this one.
It is fun when you don't have the pressure of, you know, the big whole pressure thing on you. You're just coming out for one day of fun, and it kind of, you know, makes things a little easier, I think.
And Ross from Trail Jesters, he's really been like, hey, I kind of just messaged him right around Daytona when I started to ride, and I just told him, hey, I really want to ride this year and build it into something where I'm doing J-Days and potentially a GNCC and stuff like that. And he's been really cool. He offered me up one of his team bikes to help me this year.
Nice.
So it's been like, and he's been really open with it and allowing me to, hey, if I'm not racing a race, there's no pressure or anything like that. We're having fun, building back into it. He knows, you know, I was sick for so long. Even in March when I agreed to do this with him, I didn't know if I was going to be able to be saying things I'm saying now. Like, hey, I'm going to race a national. I didn't know where my body was at. And yeah, I'm not 100% fit right now, but I'm 100% healthy. Yeah. So I know that I can do it, and that's really what I want to do is just work towards that. And Ross has been a big step towards that.
I'm excited. I love watching the local boys, our New England boys get out there and kind of give it a whirl. I mean, the fans here at Southwick have always been amazing for any of the local
parade
crew,
lap here, John, is when you're going. I mean, this guy's won here, so he knows the real feelings of this place. But
but all the local guys, I mean, I see them cheer for all the guys. So it's they're fierce out here for their local guys. I remember getting down on some of the guys, Ricky and Stanton and some guys like that over the years. Like remember when the fans used to be right behind the start gate before we got the ball.
Rough bunch down there.
It was really rough down there. They used to get down there, and man, they were tough on some of the guys. But the local guys, it didn't matter what you did, they were with you. So it was it's always great to come here.
It's funny that neither of you guys ever think of that as pressure, though, especially when you're like, it's cool to do it just one time. And that's what I was asking you before. Like, did you think I have to do well at Southwick? That's how I get a factory ride. It never becomes pressure. It's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, I actually always thought no matter how well I do at Southwick, I'm not going to get a factory ride.
So it doesn't matter.
Like, I know. I'm like,
that's kind of what I always thought, too, because of my age. I was always the old guy.
I'd put more pressure on myself at, like, Redbud and Steel City or High Point because I'm like, this is where I prove that I'm not just a sand guy. I feel like that's like I was talking to Canning about that when we were riding here, and I feel like he was a little bit frustrated with. He feels like he's going out and getting good results, and he's not being rewarded for it. And that this sport can be like that, but you just have to persevere through it because look at Marshall Welton. I mean, he was in a tough situation coming into this year.
He's in a van.
Got a fill-in ride. Look at him. He just picked off a top 10 last weekend. So it's like once you get that momentum start flowing.
That's how I got my first shot.
That's all.
I was a fill-in.
That's it. Fill-in.
Mike
no
Craig
money.
got hurt.
Yeah, I got nothing. I just said I don't care. I don't need to be paid. Big Daddy just said we want the bike, and Ziggy gave me the Geico deal, and then from there my whole career changed because once you step foot on that bike once, you don't want to leave it. You're like, this is my home here. These factory bikes. So it gives you that confidence, and it really does. It's amazing.
That's cool. We're gonna go here in a minute. I do want to ask about the trail jesters. Well, first of all, you did some J days. What was the off-road racing like for you?
Smoked.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. That's why I say I'm not ready yet because in Moto when you get tired, like I feel like I have enough skill and we've done it long enough. You can elbows sag. You can take the outside vet lines. You can do things and cheat yourself and still have a good result at a local race. Where J-Day, when you're pumped up, my arms, my shoulders, I'm just going over roots and logs.
I was going to say, you get in those tree roots and rocks trees.
I have no comfort in there, and I'm just riding so tight, and I'm like, I was I think I went like 13.7 at the 207 one that Zach did.
Nice.
Zach went 2.1. I think Canning went like 1 DNF. It's hard.
I was going to say,
you did one.
Some guys are somehow just good at it.
Yeah, like Marshall.
Chris is actually really good.
And Canning. Like, I never thought Canning
some
would,
moto guys
would
are
transfer
good in the woods
as well as he did, but he did really well. He did really, really well.
Well, here's what it's led to this crate. And there's Netra. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the long-running off-road series. And J-Day. Dude, the national scene, the GNCC scene, it just dominated.
That's it.
By your local guys.
Ben, Josh, all that.
Josh Toth, Ben Kelly, and Johnny Gerard. What the heck happened?
I raced Johnny G at J-Days, like, probably in 2015, 14. And, like, he was a menace back then, man. And, like, he wasn't doing what he was doing now, the training and all that stuff. And he was still just so talented on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
In the woods.
Yes.
In the woods.
Could not believe it. We're like, this kid is unbelievable. I used to tell him, I'm like, you could be winning GNCCs if you put your head down. And then he goes, he puts in the work, he gets the ride, and boom, there it is. Like I seen it years ago because
I remember riding with him on he was on a 65
Yep.
when his dad was alive, and we went out in these woods out here, and in these mountains, it's all rocks and nasty. And I remember having a hard time keeping up with him, and he was on a 65. He was ripping in the woods back there. I was like, holy!
The woods will humble you bad.
He was fearless.
These guys you can lap on the moto track, and then they'll smoke you in the woods.
It's that different.
It's for me it is. I don't know.
Really? Yeah.
For me it is. Like it's also I haven't been riding a lot either, so I'm not.
Yeah.
To cross into that discipline is way harder for me. I would hold my ground a lot better in a moto race. Let's say that.
That's your thing.
I'm thinking that.
Did you come to Unadilla?
In theory, anyway.
Yeah.
Did you do Unadilla GNCC once or something?
I did. I think I got smoked too. I actually got lost somewhere. I got the white flag twice. I don't know how you even do that. But
what the heck?
I took a wrong turn somewhere, I guess. I don't know.
This is how gnarly those races are. Like, dude, mud was your thing, man. As soon as it rained, John Dowd was going to be good. And I remember you being like, Yeah, but there's not 3 hours of this.
No.
Like, even for you, that was a lot of mud.
I thought I was in pretty good shape, as a moto guy.
Oh, yeah.
And the first GNCC did that, I was just like, oh, my God.
Yeah. And
About
I think
2 hours in, I was like, where's my truck?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even lift my leg
The mental
anymore.
side of it, too, of just pushing
great.
through
those
that.
Those guys are machines, the way they go. And nowadays, they're going so fast for the
It's
whole
scary
time.
fast.
Someone asked me about doing one this year, and I'm like, man, I'm struggling to finish the J days, and they're 30-minute motos. So I said, I got about
those things are for real.
I need another 2 hours and 45 minutes in the tank.
Okay.
I wouldn't suggest a mud one either.
Yeah,
They're really tough.
No, I'm good. And the hot ones, I'll skip those too.
John Dowd says it's really muddy. It's really muddy.
It's muddy.
That's what they're dealing with. Well, this is awesome. Little reunion here. Have you guys even hung out much lately, or is this like bringing it all together?
No, we were just chatting down at the bottom of the steps. I haven't seen him in a while. We were talking jet skis.
Yeah, I've been out of the game for the last 2 years, so it's good to be back. And like you said, with Jamie doing the series, I've seen so many people now, and like not being at the race and thinking I got to race and being stressed. You're able to hold conversations with people and actually meet a different side of the industry. I feel like, where the industry's grown a lot on me more this year, and I see how friendly people are, and it's like, it's been a different experience for me. I'm appreciative more of the moto industry than because when I left, I was pretty bitter at how it all went, how sick I was, and it was just tough at the time. So I'm thankful to crawl out of the hole I was in, and I'm thankful for the SOT and the technology that helped me. Because technically I'm negative with my Lyme disease. So yeah, I defied technically what the CDC and what doctors say. So I'll take it. And if anyone needs help with Lyme, they can always reach out on my Instagram, social, anything. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on research, and you've seen it all when you're down south. What I did with JGR sauce.
You're trying everything.
I did everything. I almost went to Germany and did this treatment where they heat your body up to like crazy temperature. I was going all out. I was all out. So I'm thankful I found what I did, and I'm thankful to be here talking to you guys and sitting up here with a couple legends. So it's good.
And people probably don't realize this when they see Eli Tomac or anyone on the podium start racing. That's your wife down there.
Yep.
That we see.
Yeah, I've been hanging out there a lot lately.
They get a lot of podiums.
I actually was snuck in the podium here, and I was hanging out, and Davey Coombs came over, and he gave me an infield band. He's like, "Hey, you're going to need this."
Stop
buddy.
breaking the rules.
Yeah, they're going to kick me out. But
that's pretty cool.
He played favorite, so it was good. Thanks, Davey.
He does that time to time. All right, Jimmy D, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very
Loving
much.
motocross, and John Dowd will never stop.
Good to see you again.
We'll never stop loving it. Yeah, good to see you, absolutely. Thanks for the time, guys. That's our show. It's 7 o'clock, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. It's been staging area here at the Monster Energy stage. Enjoy your Southwick 2022.